1 of the 1986 Rothmans Circuit of Ireland Rally. It's 8:30 on Good Friday morning in front of the best-known landmark in Belfast, the City Hall.
Is it ready to finish a Circuit of Ireland, though?
Well, that's the big problem, I suppose. We don't really know. Even the works cars haven't done as tough an event as this, and it is the toughest event. So I think initially we just take it a bit easy just to see, how everything's going to work. But I'm sure the car is quick enough to win the event.
Billy Coleman, this time last year you were having your first competitive drive in the Porsche. I think it took you just a little while to get to grips with it, but now it could be a different story.
I hope it will be anyway, Gary. As you say, last year I was very ill at ease with the car. It was my first rally in it, and 12 months later now, I feel very confident with the car. And mind you, the opposition has got a bit tough in the meantime as well. But
well, you started the season in great form in Galway, and of course you have once more the camera inside the car. Are you used to that now?
That's right, yeah. I suppose I can't really make any mistakes with the camera, so that's something to look out for. But I think the weather is going to be crucial in this rally more than ever, because there's a lot of talk about snow, and with the four-wheel drive cars, even in dry conditions they've got an advantage, but if it turns snowy or slush, they have a huge advantage. So I just hope it doesn't get too wintry.
And of course the man with the second Rothmans Porsche, Saeed Alhajri, also has a camera in the car, but this time it's right down at the front. Saeed, what sort of pictures do you think we're going to get from this camera?
First thing, I hope this camera can go to the safety place, because if anything happens, this camera is going to break down,
You'll have much time once you get onto the stages, though, to make any telephone calls?
No, and we want to make sure it doesn't ring during the action either.
Well, so far this morning, the only panic has been the late arrival of Austin Mchale, whose Opel Manta was very late in arriving at the embankment. But there's no time control here. He didn't incur any penalties, and there doesn't seem to be any real problem. So the scene is set for the Circuit of Ireland 1986. Now we're waiting for the start.
Miss Northern Ireland flags away the world's most successful rally driver, Hannu Mikkola, in the Audi Quattro S1. Behind him, the RS200 of Kalle Grundel, Ford's first serious challenge for victory in 8 years.
Have a three-car rally, please. And we're putting on all sorts of...
Then last year's winner, Jimmy McRae, this time in a Metro 6R4. He could equal Paddy Hopkirk's all-time record of 5 wins by Easter Tuesday. Stage 1, and almost unbelievably, the drama of the 1986 event has started already. Grundel, not Mikkola, is the first car through. Jimmy McRae follows, bedding his new car in gently, but still deceptively fast. Billy Coleman attacks right from the word go, as we take our first lightning trip inside the Porsche.
Bad right to crest. Repeat, bad right to crest. Bad right now. Bad left opens, 40. Sharp left, 60. Sharp right into bad left. Crest into square right. And sharp left. 70 over long crest, last pole, bad right.
That is Mikkola, stranded on the stage.
Last pole, bad right.
Saeed Alhajri in the second Rothmans Porsche is about to show us the same piece of road from his low-level camera, a first for rally television coverage. But back inside Coleman's car in stage 2, we come across a greater problem. Kalle Grundel's Ford is parked in a gateway. From above, we see that the driver is left with no choices. There are spectators in the road. Kalle approaches the bend. There are 2 boys in the road. One escapes, but the other is hit. Luckily, he only suffers chest and leg injuries. A terrifying incident in a morning which generally saw excellent behavior. The Metros lead, Jimmy McRae and Dai Llewellin after stage 1. Billy Coleman is now third in the Rothmans Porsche. Harri Toivonen, 4th overall in the 6R4 Metro. And Russell Brookes, 5th in the Manta 400. Michael Sundstrom is 6th in the 205 Turbo 16. He takes it very gently here. And Austin Mchale really flying in 7th place. Alhajri is in 8th and about to run into trouble as he approaches a flat-out right-hander after a very, very fast straight. Well, do you still want to be a rally driver? Miraculously, the only damage was to the lights and the rear bumper. Mark Lovell in the more fortunate Ford heralds the arrival of Mikkola, who is desperately trying to stay in the event.
You've had quite a bit to do to your car.
Yes, you know, we had a clutch problem. The other of those main cylinders got stuck, and it took quite a while for me to get it loose on the stage, so we lost 14 minutes.
Problems are normal in rallying, but the shattered windscreen of Kalle Grundel's car signified a much deeper despair. The accident was unavoidable, but now the Swedish driver has to unscramble his agonized thoughts and go back into that competition. Understandably, he did not want to talk about it.
And as the cars head off to the next stage, you can see just how popular rallying has become and the problems that popularity can cause. The long line of traffic leading into Tobermoor was also repeated in Cookstown and Macrafelt, among other places. David Llewellin, who so nearly won the first round of the British Championship, the National Breakdown Rally, is proving it was no fluke. He's a second quicker than McRae over Tullycreran Bridge. The Metro domination continues. Sundstrom will tie with Coleman here, 3 seconds slower than the leader. The Irishman can take comfort in being the best placed of the two-wheel drive cars. Russell Brookes, in the ultimate development of the Manta 400, is now heading towards his favourite North Antrim stages. And Austin Mchale, in the so-called welterweight Shell Opel Manta, must be happy with his 6th place at this stage of the event. But if Hannu Mikkola is going to retain his championship lead, it'll mean driving at 10/10ths for the next 4 days. Quattro certainly moving at a cracking pace. Kalle Grundel, now with lights ablaze, is also trying to make up for lost time. But by the time Louise Aiken-Walker arrives, the weather has worsened and her Nissan 240 RS is caught out on the wrong tyres.
Russell Brookes, that Lendon stage is a home from home. It was where he took the lead in the Ulster Rally, and again he is fastest over it this time. The Mantas seem to revel in it. Austin Mchale is almost over the edge in the Shell Oil Steeler Opel Team Ireland car. And the charging Mikkola lifting a wheel as the 500 brake horsepower goes down on the road with the Audi Quattro. 58th place after his troubles in the early stages, and the Quattro is eating up the lower numbers. Kalle Grundel is now 35th, knuckling down to the job like a true professional. But his heart can hardly be in it. Next, the ever-exciting Pentti Airikkala leading Group A. And no wonder. Coleman comes up the other side of the valley in the equally spectacular Ora Lodge stage. Even if the scenic glens of Antrim are not at their best, there's plenty of good vantage points. The hairpin at Ora Lodge is not the place to be stuck in second gear, and that's Mark Lovell's problem. Mikkola seems to ascend even quicker than the descent. He will make up 6 places in these 9 miles to make him 19th overall. Cyril Bolton in the Clubman specification press part 6R4 is now in the top 10. Ahead of him, Vincent Bonner, 9th overall. Evidence of rally misfortunes of the past are everywhere, as John Price in 24th place in the Renault 5 Turbo is trying to make up places. Then come the two 240 RS Nissans belonging to Englishman Simon Davison and Belfast driver Dan Daly.
Square right, and long crest, and bad right. Sharp left, 30. Fast right, 30. Crest 40, left and square left. Repeat, crest 40, left and square left, 1/2 firm mud.
We're leading the two-wheel drive brigade, and we seem to be splitting the four-wheelers. So, and in fact, we've taken a small bit of time. I think we're just 54 seconds off the lead now, so that's not so bad.
Well, I think that's the big story. You're actually taking time back off the metros at the moment.
Well, it appears that the David and Jimmy had some minor excursions on a couple of the stages, so we had a fairly smooth run. There was a lot of mud on the road here and there. In fact, there was even ice on the last one, which cut out a few people, but I think it's narrowing down slightly, yeah.
Well, your Galway practice would be good for the icy one.
That's right, yeah. Although I can tell you I could have done without the ice at 4 o'clock this morning.
Crest into turn bad right, don't cut. 60. Square right, 30.
Day 2 of the Rothmans Circuit of Ireland Rally 1986, and a long night's driving behind the crews, 60 of whom left Belfast at 3:30 in the morning. It's now 8 o'clock, and 59 of them are making their way into Dublin. The man who's missing, though, is Saeed Alhajri. Somewhat sensational, it must be said. The man driving the other Rothmans Porsche, and the man who had that marvellous low-slung camera which gave us great shots last night. He's gone from the rally, having gone off the road on special stage 12, Bells Hill, near Ballynahinch in County Down.
You know, Porsche, very sideways cars. And I come very quick for like very tight pint, you know, like medium right, something like this. And I can't stop the cars, you know, and just I go sideways and I go down to the field, and the cars are not coming out.
Hannu Mikkola is facing what seems like mission impossible. Those first day clutch problems dropped him to 58th at one point, but he's fighting back. The Quattro is fairly crackling along, but is it a case of for whom the bell tolls?
After the midi right angles of the RDS, we climb into real rally country. Two stages whose names are whispered in awe when any tales of the Circuit of Ireland are told: Sally Gap and Aughivana. The fans had largely ignored the city centre entertainment, which had been laid on for them, and flocked in their customary thousands to the Dublin mountains. Nature had added snow to the intriguing equation. 27 miles of the best rallying country were now ahead. Jimmy McRae has a 21-second advantage over his metro mate, David Llewellin. Billy Coleman is only 41 seconds adrift of the supercars. Strangely, he is not particularly looking forward to the next 27 miles, as he doesn't think they will suit the Porsche. But let's go inside as we come up to Sally Gap.
Fast left, 70. Turn bad right. Repeat, turn bad right to sharp left 70 kink. Left 30, slow right 40. Repeat, 40 kink. Sharp right to sharp left.
Brookes in fifth must attack. He's no stranger to this country. And Kalle Grundel has only 4 seconds in hand over the English driver. Not a comfortable position. Then comes Austin Mchale. These are his 2 favourite stages in Ireland. Harri Toivonen in the Unipart Metro is 6th, but only 1 minute 29 seconds behind Russell Brookes. And there is great home support for Vincent Bonner in the Opel Ascona 400. 9th overall and loving every moment of it. Okavana, Llewellin is on the wrong tyres. Billy Coleman is driving beautifully, but he can't match the power of the Metros in the mountains. Brookes leaps the lightweight Manta, and he moves up to 4th place, at Kalle Grundel's expense in the Ford. Mikael in his home country, and the crowds are out to cheer him on. Harri Toivonen, who comes from the famous Finnish family, is ahead on the road of another famous Finn, who we are sadly just about to see the last of. Hannu Mikkola retires later on that stage with suspension problems. Vincent Bonner leaps his way towards the Kilkenny service halt.
Even on the road, so over the little bumps?
Aye, over the little bumps, it's more like a ball joint, right? Okay. Then when you really hit the hard bumps...
You're the service organiser for Billy Coleman. There's a lot of work going on with the wheels and the steering at the moment. Is there a problem?
There's no problem at the moment. It's just retracking the steering, centering the steering up. The steering wheel seems to be a little off-centre, so it's just recentering it so that it feels better in his hands.
The weather has turned a bit nasty now. What sort of tyres are you going to give him for the next stages?
We're going on a combination, wets in front and intermediate rears, as a combination to suit all conditions.
Jimmy McRae holds his lead as the Metro 6R4 splashes onto stage 19. Welshman Llewellin tries hard, but still loses another 5 seconds to the Flying Scot. Coleman's controlled driving in the Rothmans Porsche is quicker than either of the Metros here. But Kalle Grundel is the quickest of the lot. Stage 20, Portlaw. Cars are heading back to Waterford. Llewellin is trying to dust off the opposition. Billy Coleman goes through, but the car is sounding rough. 3-time circuit winner Russell Brookes is having a trouble-free run in the Manta. But Coleman has a definite problem at the back of the Porsche.
Slow puncture on the right rear. Yeah. Long mid right. 300. Press 30. Quick right. 300. Yeah, 300. Right flat over crest. 80. Slide right. 200. Crest 1/2. Mid left tightens. Maybe wet. 30. Fast right opens, 300.
Vincent Bonner also has his hands full in the Opel Ascona 400. But Coleman's rear tyre is now completely flat, and it's vibrating badly.
And the wheel is taken. Go on behind that. Keep on.
Englishman Simon Davison and Mark Atkinson are enjoying the final stage of the day, which is more than you can say for Coleman and Morgan, as they lose a lot of time and drop a place on the leaderboard.
Well, isn't that a shame? No, I know that. My God, the last stage into Waterford is bad luck for us, isn't it?
Waterford at last, and a welcome break for the crews. What an eventful day it's been. Saeed Alhajri crashing out early on, and Hannu Mikkola finally calling it a day with suspension problems. But it's been a good day for Jimmy McRae.
We've had no problems today, and we seem to have been in the right, well, near enough the right tyre at the right time.
Which was the one that made the big difference? Salligap, Agavana?
Agavana coming down, it was very wet, and we had an intermediate wet tyre, and it really paid off there.
Hopefully tomorrow I'll make some correct tyre choices and Jimmy won't, so we'll be able to grab a bit more time back off him. But as you say, they are very fast stages, and the Metro has got a good top speed, so it will suit the car very well.
Apart from tyre choice, there's been no other problems?
No, it's been going very well. The car has run perfectly. We've had a few small brake problems, but nothing more than that.
Billy Coleman, it was all going perfectly until just before the village of Portlaw on the last stage.
That's right, Tom. We had our annual Saturday afternoon puncture coming into Waterford in the last stage. Not as bad as last year, but it's cost us about 4 minutes. So it means that we're now fourth. We've dropped one place, and I think we're about 5 minutes off the lead, and we had been just over one.
Well, Louise, it seems to have been a day of choosing the right tyres and keeping out of the slippery bits. How's it gone for you?
Well, I think we've just run an intermediates all day because it's a little bit muddy on the corners, so we're just playing safe at the moment.
Well, now, of course, you're years ahead almost in the ladies' prize, but it's not really the ladies' prize you're interested in, is it?
No, we're having a good battle with this man in front here, Vince.
We're surprised to be in the top 10 at the moment because since we have left Belfast, we have nothing but problems with fuel starvation. And as we're coming on down the country, it's getting worse and worse and worse. We're trying to eliminate it. It's very, very hard to get the problem now.
Time rapidly running out here in service at Waterford. Michael Sundstrom.
Yeah, we had to change the gearbox now, the complete gearbox, and it seems that the mechanics do very, very good and quick work because they have worked only 15 minutes and now it seems to be ready in maybe 2-3 minutes.
So you've had fuel starvation problems really throughout the rally so far?
Well, since the second stage, since Belfast, we have had this problem. And they're trying everything and anything, but they just don't seem to be able to get it, you know?
Who have you got in service crew? Because I see a familiar face behind you.
Yes, Sydney Meek and the boys, they're looking after the car since we started. And they've called on now the Opel people to have a look at it and see what's, you know, can they do anything with it, you know?
Looks as though it's one of those things that we'll probably find out about one stage to go or something like that.
We're on stage 24, Dunmoon, high in the hills above Villierstown in County Waterford, John Tracy country. This Circuit of Ireland rally, this marathon, has not yet run half its course. Could the sting yet be in the tail? Interestingly enough, when leaving Dungarvan, the service area there, Austin Mchale, with a smile on his face, said, this rally's only just beginning.
Jimmy McRae probably wishes it was over, with him as winner, of course, but those clutch problems are getting worse. For David Llewellin, it's a chance to snatch back the lead, and he's closing all the time. Harri Toivonen is still going strong in the third Metro, giving Austin Glover their third car in the top 6. But in the battle for the top, there's a new leader. Llewellin has overtaken McRae, but success seems to have made him a little twitchy. Russell Brookes hasn't put a wheel wrong so far, quietly moving up to second. McRae is back in third, and he's stuck in second gear.
And back left. Slow right over crest, 30. Bad left here, slow right over crest, 30. Sharp right opens, 100. Mid left, 100 kick.
There are problems ahead for Billy Coleman. This is what the spectators saw. Now the driver's view of the same incident.
Turn hairpin left, gravel. Repeat, turn hairpin left, gravel, 40. Easy left, 1/4.
But within seconds, Ronan Morgan and Billy Coleman are flying again.
Repeat, quick left, 300. Crest flat, 200, kink over crest. Easy right, 400. Repeat, easy right, 400. Easy right, 50. Long easy right, 80. Easy left over crest, 70. Quick left, 400.
Austin Mchale was almost caught out on the same corner. But Simon Davison's Nissan 240 RS was completely sideways. Meanwhile, further into the stage, there's another change of surface for the drivers to contend with as they find snow lying in the Knockmealdown Mountains. So far today, there's been heavy rain, light rain, sunshine, and now snow. Could be a service manager trying to pick the right tyres to cope with all that.
As we head, where to next? Due to McRae's problems, David Llewellin is now without pressure for the first time in the rally. But Russell Brookes can never relent as he fights against the advance of technology. And Billy Coleman, who continues to fight as only he can to make back lost time. As he descends into the Nair Valley, this was ironically replaced yesterday. Vincent Bonner is a much happier man. As others fail, Vincent rises up the top 10. Also climbing are the more standard cars like Stanley Orr's Toyota. Billy Coleman's Porsche may not be pretty, but fortunately the effect of the crash is cosmetic rather than structural. Mark Lovell is getting closer and closer as the Englishman takes full advantage of his trouble-free Sunday run. The long hours on the road are beginning to tell. Simon Davison indulges in a time-consuming but damage-free spin. Not only the scenery is beautiful as we get to the closing stages of an action-packed Easter Sunday, a day which has brought a new leader, David Llewellin. Russell Brookes leads the two-wheel drive cars in second place. And Jimmy McRae, with a new gearbox, charges back with 3 fastest times to third place. One young rally fan just doesn't want to hear about Coleman's misfortune. The Corkman is now fourth, and his gearbox is crying enough. Mark Lovell's confidence grows by the mile. He has moved from 8th to 5th today. And another young man who is making a big name for himself in Group B, Harri Toivonen, 6th tonight in Waterford. Then the 2 Irish-owned Opels of Austin Mchale and Vincent Bonner. There are still 3 home crews in the top 10 and rising. We now join the
closing chapter of day 3 of the Circuit of Ireland Rally is providing high drama here in the Rothmans pen in the service halt, because both Rothmans cars need attention. We've got Jimmy McRae in need of a differential. We've got Billy Coleman's Porsche in need of a new gearbox. Interestingly, that is the very fault that put Toivonen out of the rally in a similar car just 2 years ago. The mechanics are under pressure. Will they make it in time for tomorrow?
I can change it in about a quarter of an hour, so with any luck we should be okay. But you can see the way these guys work. I have most faith in them.
The team of mechanics, led by Dick Goodman, responded magnificently. The old gearbox was whipped out and the new one installed in just 12.5 minutes. And the spanner men were hard at work on Llewellin's car too, although he was able to finish the day with a smile on his face.
Still there after 3 days, David? Yep. Sorry? Still there after 3 days, going well? Yes, Jimmy's had a bit of bad luck really today. Gearbox problem and a puncture on the stage, stop and change it, so that's put him like 7 minutes behind us, so we're feeling good. There. What's the...
Coming round the mountain of Slievelamont, the leader. These right-angular bends suit the Manta. But there are reports that Billy Coleman has a misfire. but we can't detect it here. Jimmy McRae isn't making any great inroads on Llewellin at the moment. But here's the story of the day so far. Mark Lovell is closing rapidly on Coleman, and the new Ford is hungry for 4th place. Another fast mover, the Unipart Metro. In the top 10, we still have 4 four-wheel drive cars. Sadly, at the end of this 13-mile trip round Slieve Le Mans, we are missing Vincent Bonner. The engine has finally given up, and Davidson moves up to 8th.
A bit of a problem for us. Both stages were very, very muddy, and in a two-wheel drive car, you have real serious problems with traction, and we lose out a lot of time to the four-wheel drive cars. I think something in the region of 20 to 30 seconds a stage.
Conditions this morning have really favoured the four-wheel drive cars, and we've dropped, I think it's about 20 seconds in the first couple there now.
Difficult day for tyre choice once again.
Yes, we're opting for the safe choice all the time, and I think that's the way for us to treat it at the moment. What we're really looking forward to is the sections in Galway, Harri Mountains, and maybe some of these cars will have problems again.
I still think that a lot of things can happen, and I firmly believe I have a really good chance to.
The Circuit of Ireland Rally has returned to Tipperary this year, part of the world where the scenery is attractive in the extreme. But one of the local landmarks is Keeper Hill here. And they say around these parts that if it snows on Keeper Hill on Easter Monday, the tenants get a year rent-free. Well, it's Easter Monday, there's no snow at Keeper Hill, but the Circuit of Ireland Rally is going through this part of the world.
The heat is really on as the professionals revel in these glorious stages 7 miles south of Nina. Jimmy McRae is rapidly catching Russell Brookes, but not David Llewellin. But that misfire in the Porsche has cost Coleman 32 seconds over Brookes in the two-wheel drive battle. Lovell's progress is electrifying in the Ford. The current British national champion is now 9 seconds behind Coleman in 5th place. Harri Toivonen's excellent run is now being hampered by electrical problems, and he arrives at stage 34 in quite a flap. The Shell Manta 400, driven by Austin Mchale, is undoubtedly one of the entertainers of the event, as the Dubliner flings the Black Manta round with gay abandon.
Llewellyn's position at the head of the field remains secure. As he heads into Galway, the young Welshman says he'd be happy if the rally ended now. Russell Brookes has been driving brilliantly throughout the day, holding second place in spite of a painful hip injury. His team manager is searching Galway for a physiotherapist. Coleman's car still bears the scars from yesterday's accident, but it's still going well. However, the final stage of the day is another of those hairy moments.
Crest and right flat, 200 over crest.
But once again, the Cork farmer comes out unscathed.
I understand you had a bit of a problem and you were seeking physiotherapy.
I don't know what it is, but I woke up this morning with a terrible pain in my backside. And it wasn't Mike Broad either.
Coleman is in 4th place, and a very popular 4th place, of course, but you've had a few problems.
Mostly small problems today, George. The big problem we've had, of course, that bloody puncture 2 days ago, and no matter what I do, I can't seem to make up the time. We had a bit of an accident yesterday, which of course was in desperation, trying to make up 4 minutes, which is not easy to do. And we just can't really crack Russell Brookes. That's the position of it. The margin is exactly the same. We've done 6 stages since Waterford, and literally every second one he's beaten us, we've beaten him, and never more than 3 seconds in it, so not a lot you can do in that situation.
Half past 7 on day 5, the final day of the 1986 Rothmans Circuit of Ireland Rally. We're in Omagh. It's a damp day, but it's been a night of high drama. Two of the top contenders are now out. We lost Billy Coleman and Jimmy McRae, the Rothmans Porsche, the Rothmans Metro.
Stand back up there!
But there are still 4 stages to go. For Russell Brookes and Mike Broad, it's gently, gently to the finish. But for Austin Mchale and Mark Lovell, these stages will decide 3rd place. On Oralodge and Glendon, the Dubliner responds magnificently to the challenge. Despite a missed gear change here, he has stemmed the avalanche of time. Mark Lovell continues to close, but not at the rate he had prior to Ballymoney. The Dubliner now is in with a real chance of retaining that 3rd position from the Flying Ford. At the Sala and Glencoe stages, David Llewellyn's dreams are beginning to look a reality. And Austin Rover are proving an enormous point about the quality of their product. Then it's all eyes glued for the last-ditch efforts of the Shell dealer Opel Team Ireland Manta. Mikael, after 24 hours on the road, is calling on his last reserves. Third would be a dream come true for the Irish champion, but can he stop the advance of the RS 200? Now it's Lovell. After 650 stage miles, only 23 are left, and Mark has to pull back a further 47 seconds. That's over 2 seconds a mile. Has the Ford that much of an advantage? The answer is no. After 5 days motoring, Austin Mchale retains 3rd place by 2 seconds.
The winning combination of man and machine duly arrived at the City Hall to be officially proclaimed #1 and enjoy the acclamation of the crowd.
David Llewellyn, you're probably the winner of one of the toughest Circuit of Ireland's ever.
Thank you very much. I'm chuffed a bit, very pleased.
Fantastic day for yourself, and of course a fantastic day for Wales.
Yes, it's a fantastic day for me. It's my first international win, and also for the car, it's the first international win for the car. And I think it's the first Welshman ever to win the rally as well, so altogether I'm absolutely chuffed a bit.
And by trade, I believe.
That's right, yes. I love the farm, and whenever I'm not rallying, I go straight home to the farm and help out.
But is there anybody there special, or you're still a single man?
There is somebody there special, but I am still a single man, I think.
And how are you going to celebrate this great victory?
Lots of Guinness, I think. That would be the order.
Your long-term ambitions in rallying?
The highest, of course, world champion.
Who's to say it won't happen? To the victor, the laurels. And with the Welsh Dragon triumphant, they'll be singing in the valleys tonight.
Long after the excitement of the last 5 days has dulled and been replaced by other sporting memories, the 2 new stars of this Easter weekend will be remembered: David Llewellyn and the Metro Supercar.
And that is the story of the Rothmans Circuit of Ireland 1986. A new face, a new name, a new champion. And why shouldn't a Welsh rugby player take Ireland's top rallying prize? Four Irishmen, though, in the top 10. Austin Mchale finished third, his first finish in the Circuit of Ireland. Frank Fennell was 7th. Richard Hall from Mossley came in 9th. And a marvellous drive from Eddie Colton brought him in 10th. But the day, the hour and the weekend belongs to David Llewellin, the new Welsh champion. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the 1986 circuit and look forward to next year. Goodbye to you.